Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my Voices Power Season 2. Wow, it is great to see you again. I know it has been a while that we've been taking a break, but we are back. We are back with incredible information, incredible people, incredible departments, and incredible sector. So today, I'm not by myself. Today, I'm with the one and only one of the powerful a family lawyer that I know, the powerful labor lawyer that I know, Zunaid. Welcome to my Voices Power.
No, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here to assist and to give as much information as possible to empower both women and men.
Yes, Zunaid is one of the best that I know. Why I'm saying the best is because I had experience of him. So today, in my Voices Power, I've seen it so suitable to bring the legal part, where we need to discuss about the issues that we face every day. You know, everybody needs a lawyer. Today, theme is everybody needs a lawyer. And indeed, everybody needs a lawyer. Zunaid, how do you find your voice so powerful? How do you, just tell us about yourself. Just tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself to the viewers.
So, my name is Zunaid Olivier. I'm a director of Olivier Steyn Incorporated. I have been an attorney for 19 years. I was admitted 19 years ago. I served my articles in a family law practice, and then I left. I did lots of other things, lots of labor work. I did personal injury work. I did municipal work, commercial work, and then somehow found my way being headhunted by one of the big firms who wanted to start up a family law department. And that's who I am. I'm passionate about people, and that's why I think I love practicing family law and I love practicing labor law, because it's people. I love the challenge. I love helping people. People, on the other hand, are quite draining. It's because both fields are very heavily driven by emotion. If it's an employee who's lost their job, it's an emotional problem for them. If it's a mother that's struggling to get maintenance, if it's a father who's struggling to get access to his child, it's all very emotionally driven. We say in the profession, not every person can be a family law attorney. Not every person can do labor law. You've got to be a special kind. And I'm not saying that about myself, but you've got to be quite thick-skinned. So that's who I am. And that's the work that I do. And I hope that it's impactful.
Yeah, I really never think about it that way, that it actually is something that you invest your emotion on it. And coming to think about, people call you at night, a father frustrated, a mother frustrated. It's quite a lot of draining, and you got to answer them. It doesn't matter what time it is, because some lawyers, they work from 8 to 5, and from there they'll say, no, talk to my secretary. But I've never taken it like that it has to be emotion. So yeah, I think you got to love what you're doing for you to be a family lawyer or labor lawyer. You got to love what you're doing, because you got to just pay attention to details and everything. And yeah, I get it. And I get it to where your voice finds the power. It's when you decided that I want to deal with people. And I love people. And the love of people is what driven you to this kind of a profession that you have chosen. I mean, law is broad. Law is broad. I mean, you can talk about law. You've got a criminal law, you've got commercial law. We're still going to have those episodes here, because this is this season is a season about legal and law, and everyone needs a lawyer. And indeed, we all need a lawyer. I mean, even advice about what you are eating, sometimes you need a lawyer. You understand? A doctor can give you a wrong information. You need a lawyer. Everything you need a lawyer. You need a guidance. Sometimes you ask advice from other people, but also a legal advice is more important. And I think we are sitting in the world that people always find a lawyer when it's in the last minute. And I've seen it so so suitable for us to talk about this and discuss these legal things, to say you need a lawyer every day. Prepare yourself to have somebody that you call your lawyer, that on that moment when we need that kind of service, you can access the lawyer. So can you tell us a brief about this family law? Like, how do our people dealing with things? And like, I mean, we talk about maintenance, we talk about children's law, we talk about GBVs. It's part of family law.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a very good point that you make, Deborah, that people will come to lawyers too late. And I often say, when you come to me with an egg that's already scrambled, I can't unscramble the egg. So I do think one of the key advices that I'd like to give today is be a bit proactive, seek out an attorney or a lawyer commonly known before your problem arises. Try to have some foresight. It's not always possible, but try to have some foresight and get to an attorney before the egg gets scrambled. But I mean, in terms of my family law practice, we are guided by children's matters. It's the Children's Act. Maintenance matters. It's the Maintenance Act. One of the scourges of our country, which is domestic violence, is we have two acts, the Domestic Violence Act and the Harassment Act. But obviously everything that we do is guided by our Constitution. So our Constitution guarantees children their rights. We've got a principle in law about when children are involved in any matter, their best interests are paramount. So the Constitution says so. The Constitutional Court has said that whenever a matter involves a child or children, their interests come first. In terms of domestic violence, it's not technically domestic violence, but for example, if your neighbor is harassing you, if your cousin is harassing you, if anybody who is harassing you or abusing you, but does not fall strictly into the definition of a domestic relationship, there's the Protection from Harassment Orders Act that you can get relief from. So those are all just the legal instruments that I use in my practice. But a lot of family law, and why I said it is draining, is because a lot of it is actually just psychology. People just actually want to vent. They want to speak. Sometimes it's very little about the law and it's just common sense. If I get a call on a Sunday because the little one needs to be returned by 5 p.m. and it's 5:05 and the mum is freaking out, then you've got to just say, listen, calm down, relax a bit, he's on his way.
And there's always a traffic on the road.
100%.
There can be a traffic on the road. There can be traffic cops stopping the father. There can be a traffic cop stopping the mother. I just feel like people must find a ground to, certain things. I think that I don't know how will things turn out, but I just feel like people should learn to find a ground. I feel like on attorneys, maybe attorneys must come together and always have to have a mutual agreement with each other. Like, parents, when they fight each other, it's attorney on attorney. Mm. But can't attorneys come together and have a mutual agreement to say, let's advise our client to behave this way?
So I think anybody who knows me knows that I'm quite a litigator. I enjoy litigation because it satisfies me as a person. But litigation, particularly when it comes to children, is not the best route. And that's why our Children's Act specifically says you need to mediate before you litigate, because mediation is a softer approach. People might not know, but our high courts now insist that when you issue any action or any application, you must issue a notice saying either you can mediate this matter or you can't, and why can't you? I see attorneys on the other side as potential friends, because if we get along, our clients benefit.
Yes.
If we don't get along and we're fighting and it becomes personal between the two of us, we'll never give the other an indulgence. if you need something to file by a certain date and I cannot stand you, I'm going to say no. My client is going to suffer. So some clients, unlike you, they don't have the presence of mind to say, okay, my lawyer is not that person's friend, but that him being friendly with that person helps me.
I get you. And in the event of like a labor law, can you briefly maybe tell the viewers like on labor law, how can you advise about labor law?
So I mean, the labor legislation is obviously your Labor Relations Act, your Employment Equity Act, and obviously we start again at the Constitution. Everything permeates from the Constitution through everything else. So the Constitution guarantees us all the rights to fair labor practices, and the acts then put those into place. Women particularly are protected from the Constitution, which prohibits discrimination based on a host of things. For this chat, importantly, gender and sex. The Employment Equity Act also promotes women's rights. Men are somehow getting those rights. I mean, for a simple thing like maternity leave. I think, and I've got a little baby in my house now because I've got a family member with a 6-month-old. I think it might be controversial, but I think 4 months maternity leave is too little.
Yeah, the mothers need time. And actually, I was thinking maybe I'm an employer myself. So I always find it so difficult to see somebody when they are 9 months, because they're trying to push until they get to maternity so that they can have 4 months with the baby to see the baby growing. But I was saying maybe as the attorneys, can't you go to court and say, can't the mothers get 1 month before they give birth? Just given being pregnant is a sickness that no one knows about it. And sometimes the people that are drawing this constitution, do they involve doctors to hear their view? What is the mother to be like when they're about to give birth? Because now the body is strange, is carrying the foreign, is the person that have never known, the body is getting strange, and they get tired when it's getting to 9 months. But when constitution comes, it said 4 months maternity. But 4 months maternity, they are talking about, is that the day the baby is born? How about the 1 month before the baby is born? Because I think a lot of people that are drawing this constitution mostly are men. Do they involve doctors to say, doctor, what is your view about a woman that is about to give birth? Like, this is just something that is in my mind, and I'm cautious about it to say, I've seen so many, I'm in the mine industry, and I'm seeing so many women, when they are pregnant, they are struggling the last month to walk to the offices, and you ask yourself, so how can, and now they'll have to opt to say, can I work from home? I allow them to work from home because I feel like I will also ask to work from home when I'm 9 months, to be in the place where I have to walk at least 300 meters to get to my office. And sometimes I walk around, and what if anything happens there? It's far from everything. So I always give my employees a month to work from home. They do everything but they're home. So, but my thinking is that I'm trying to think, why can't the country, when they draw this constitution, can't they involve the right people before they can make decisions? Like, you need the gynecologist to put them to their view, to say, what are you thinking? Because now, as I'm saying, to say you need 1 month before, the gynecologist department doesn't allow any doctor to deliver a child before 39 weeks. You cannot deliver a child at 37, 38 weeks. A child must be delivered at 39 weeks. It's the law. But that law is a gynecology. It's sitting in their gynecologist, in their council, to say you can't. But our constitution knows that there's that law, that a woman has to stay 39 weeks. 39 weeks is too long to deliver a child. And at that time, you don't know how to do anything. But because you are struggling, you just want to continue going to work until the last day so that you can have 4 months leave.
Look, our laws are drafted by the people who sit in Parliament. That's their job. We've got a very strictly upheld principle that powers are separated. So the courts adjudicate and interpret the laws. We try to enforce them, and Parliament draft the laws. There is a consultative process. I can't say for sure. I would hope that they speak to the medical profession as an organized profession. I think it's a bit difficult, Dipuo, because, and I mean, you're obviously speaking from experience on many levels. You're an employer, but you're also a mother.
Yes.
And so I think, I don't know where the 4 months comes from, but I mean, I've seen women take work until the last day to get their 4 months, then take their balance of their sick leave, which is 36 days in a 3-year cycle. 30 days in a 36-month cycle. And then also take their sick leave if possible, because you don't know what health your child will be born into. I don't think it's a bad idea to have a month before, but the difficulty is that in the labor context, we still have to balance it out with the interest of business, because it's very difficult to also have an employee away for what can then be 6-7 months.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
It is. It is, and some company can survive with someone off for that kind of period. And also, I guess that maternity leave payout is not a lot of money, and people can't survive with that, because, I mean, you have to get your salary from labor, which is a very strenuous.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes it's about affordability. So even if you want to stay there for that long, you think about, what am I going to get? And that money doesn't come the same. The first month it becomes better, the other month it goes down. Mm-hmm. So also our Department of Labor is not making it easy for the mother to sustain them so that they can take care of the baby. You end up being stressed, and you end up not being able to cope being at home and raise your child, because the finances are no longer stable. So you just have to go back to work so you can be in the normal payroll, so you can get your money the way you're supposed to get. So I don't know. I've never seen them getting their right salary. I don't know how it calculated at labor also, but that is not who we cannot intervene there. But I'm saying these are the things that people out there needs to discuss. Mm-hmm. That's why we're here as My Voice is Power, for the knowledge, for the power, for advices on how can we go about to fix things that are not fixable. I mean, I've seen other employers, even when you go to see a doctor, you go in the morning to see a doctor, they want hours sick note. I've never seen something like that. Have you heard about hour sick note? No.
And I'm an employer myself, so I don't do that. I think it's not reasonable. People need to look at it as in terms of days. If you are gone for half a day, that's fine. But if you are gone for 2 hours, I think my hope, Dipuo, is that things are changing. I think things are changing. People are becoming more compassionate. I think COVID did a lot for that. People working from home. I mean, I've often been on Teams and my dog is barking at the back, and then I'll say, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I was in court once. And the judge said, no, it's fine. Lots of us have dogs. So I think to just bring it back, employers also need to be reasonable. I think it's unreasonable. And I don't think that taking any sort of disciplinary action against an employee who fails to give you a sick note for a few hours will stand up, either in the CCMA or the Labour Court.
But you know, there are employees that will tell you that I can drag your matters. They even tell you that I can drag your matters. You can go to CCMA, you get to CCMA, I drag it out. You go to Labour Court, I just still drag it out until any court that you go, just proven that if they can deal with you. Because I've seen a sister of mine that is dealing with that one hour a sick note. 1 hour sick note. I said, I've never heard about something like that. He said, I have to go to the doctor. If I don't bring a sick note that I was not at work for 2 hours, then I'm in trouble. And they said they can fire me and no one can do anything about it. So we still have those employer that are just feeling like they don't even follow Employment Act. I think it's about power of being employer for them. And what do you do about such situation when you are facing a situation that an employer just drag things? You go to CCMA, drag it. You go to labor law, drag it. But when you realize the case, it was like something that it could have just give it to you. Because you said, I can't come to work today because I'm pregnant. Some employer tell you that my work needs you. If you can't be here, I'll fire you for not being here and get somebody else. That time you are pregnant.
Look, there are the employment relationship is an exchange. The employee renders their services and they get paid for that. But the dynamic in the relationship, the power dynamic when it comes to negotiating is obviously not the same. Because most cases, and now I'm not speaking about your CEO and your COO who walk in with way more power than, for example, a cashier wanting to work at a supermarket. Most employees are on the back foot when it comes to the negotiating power. They want the job. They need the job. So that's where the relationship starts. Obviously, I think employers have the financial muscle to frustrate employees. They might lose at the CCMA and appeal it to the Labour Court, and then appeal it to the Labour Appeal Court. And then if you can find a constitutional issue, you can appeal to the, from the Labour Appeal Court to the Supreme Court of Appeal and to the Constitutional Court. So I see that a lot. I see lots of people being litigation fatigued and financially drowned. Unfortunately, that's our system. Our system allows for appeals, and it's a system that works.
And you know, Zunaid, talking about that, I know that, and it's very painful. Once in my life, I was legally frustrated by a certain company. You know, I was young, and trying to be in business, and I got fired. After that, they just drained me, and they didn't have a case because it was a hate situation that somebody said, I don't want to see this person here. I just want to get rid of her. And because they knew that they don't have a case against me, I took whatever small money that I had to try and take them to court. You know how much you pay your senior counsel. Like per hour, he rates around 40-something thousand. By that time, I think I was paying him per hour to see a senior counsel 48,000. 48,000 for me. I cannot sustain to see senior counsel for 2 weeks. Then they wanted us to go to court for a month. And they knew that those fees, I can't. I have to pay the court, the boardroom that we were supposed to use. I had to pay like 50%. And they choose the most expensive place to hold that session. Then you need to see for a month, a senior counsel must be here. And the senior counsel will say, you pay me first before I can go to a case for a month. Because I can't say you pay me for 2 weeks. And what if you run out of money? Then we're going to look like we are a bunch of jokes. So you ask yourself, I think it's the way the world is, but it's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating. I felt that before, and I had to just quit. And one day I just said, Dipuo, you're too small for this.
Yeah.
You're too small for this. If you're going to fight this, you're not going to win. These people already, maybe they've put 10 million aside to say, we just want to show her that she's nothing and we're going to deal with it. And I had to counsel myself. I said, you know what? I have a case, but I have to accept to lose.
Dipuo, I think you were in that, I call it the grey band, because we obviously know that our government provides legal services free of charge to people who are very low income. I don't know what the exact threshold is for legal aid, but I think the last time I checked, if you owned a property of 1.2 million and below, or if you earned 15,000, then you get free legal services. And then you've got the very rich people who can litigate forever, and then you've probably got me, where I won't qualify for legal aid, but I probably will not be able to sustain senior counsel for a month either. And that to be in that band, I think, is very frustrating. And what happened with you often happens. People get fatigued and they go, I'm out.
Because you got to think that, okay, it's either I'm going to make it out of this broke, or maybe I even never make it. Somehow, as a person, you just need to think, does it worth it? And then sometimes you see, okay, I'm trying to sue them 20 million, but will I even get to that 20 million? Because sometimes when you don't have money, you are inviting the frustration, the depression, because, you know, running a case for a month can give you depression.
I've seen it. I've seen clients who love the fight. Even when I say to them, let's settle. This is a great offer. You're going to get much less at court. But I see mostly people just being tired, financially drained. Litigation can destroy you. And I don't think people appreciate that enough. I think the legal profession we call it the noble profession, but in recent times, I think what people see on TV has not done us any favors. We are not looked at, I think, with the amount of respect that is required and what used to be. And attorneys have a bad rap, but we're not all like that. We want to help people settle their matters. We want to help them access justice, access the courts. And I think your next guest might say this, we are creatures of instruction. If you say to me, Zunaid, you will fight this until I don't have a cent left, that's what I must do.
Until you say, and I like it when the attorney said, ma'am, I now you, since you're saying you are exhausted to your funds, I'm no longer representing you. So hence it comes to this stage that everyone needs a lawyer, because that is coming when you don't have a relationship at all. Because the lawyer that you find in the last minute, when the funds finish, they'll leave. But a lawyer that you created a relationship with, they will know you better to say, maybe she'll bounce back and we might work out something. So that's what I keep on saying, everyone need a lawyer. And you need a lawyer when it is not a war, just when it's quiet. You need a lawyer.
So isn't the best example when you're in love?
Yeah.
No one's fighting, you're very much in love, and there are dates that have been looked at for the wedding. You need a lawyer. You need a contract.
Yes.
And if I can just elaborate on that, Dipuo, for
contracts, for
the ladies.
And let me tell you, a lot of people, people often think that I'm a master of everything. They think I'm a social worker. They think I'm a psychologist. They think I'm a lawyer. I think I'm a judge. Everyone just come to me for information. I'm like, God, why people think I know everything? And, hence I'll be saying, maybe contact this person, because I don't know about that. But, we find that very often that people are getting so wrong in marriages. People still don't know what's happening about marriages. People don't know even the different types of marriages up until today. And people just wake up and then they love each other, and then the man said, let's sign. Then you said, okay, we're going to sign. We are in community of property. I guess the time of in community of property was our parent, because they've never worked. But in community of property doesn't mean that you don't love your partner. I always tell people that people think if I'm not getting married with you in community of property, you don't love them. Can you just elaborate about this in community of property and these contracts and stuff? Because a lot of people are confused. They find themselves in the marriage. Now they want to go out because they didn't even know the people very well that they're getting married to. They're getting in 6 months. You are married in community of property. You are being abused. Now you want to go out and you don't know. And also there's another new law that when you are in Lowola already, the minute the cows are coming and people are singing, you are in community of property. But they are saying, others says that is not. And they said there was a case that, there's got a case study that it proven that that is not a marriage unless you said it is a marriage. And some people tend to say, I've got pictures. The people that were around, so that is a marriage. So, but the thing is, like, we are confused, all of us. We don't know what is a marriage. And others says, until I say to you, we are married, we sign, that is a marriage. But others saying, once the cows are coming, people are singing, that is a marriage. Can you tell us about that? Can maybe try to advise the viewers about that? What is this thing about marriages and cows and everything? How do we say someone is married?
So customary law is dynamic. It changes. And I think the difficulty with our country is that Zulu culture is different to Pedi culture, is different to Tsonga culture, is different to Xhosa culture. So, I mean, probably the most well-known case is the case of Double HP. And when his family didn't want his wife, she was trying to prove that she was his wife to bury him. And the judge found that they were married. But there's a lot of cases, Tipuwa.
But that case go on and on, because I saw it in this, she was talking about it in some film that they were doing. Yeah, they were in, she was talking about that. She's still in that court. She's still busy with that court case. It went from one court to another.
There's lots of
still busy up until today.
Lots of cases about it's a factual inquiry that the judge has to do. Evidence is laid, experts will come and say this was a marriage. But the point really is that, and this is what I say to my African clients, let's not get into that dangerous area. Before you even write that Lobola letter, come and see an attorney and get your contract done. Because the default position in our law, the automatic position, is that without a contract, it's in community of property. So get your contract, and what a lot of people don't know or realize, including educated people, I've done it for many doctors, many lawyers, engineers, accountants, is that once that customary marriage is concluded, without a contract, it's in community of property, because the Recognition of Customary Marriages Act says that.
But they are saying that letter, when you send the letter, is not a marriage. That's what people are saying.
Yes. So in different cultures, it's different things. Some cultures require the letter, full payment of the lobola, the handing over of the bride, and whatever other ceremonies have to happen. Other cultures don't require all of that.
So it depends with your culture. So if my culture is a Pedi, example, I'm a Pedi woman. So in Pedi, when they said, when the letter comes and the cows comes, this is the marriage.
Okay.
So that is a marriage.
What, is your husband also Pedi?
No, he's not a Pedi.
So you see, that's the difficulty, because he then comes to court and he says, but that's not my culture. My culture, we still needed to do 1, 2, 3 more steps. And that's the difficulty the courts are faced with. So let's not get there. While you're still in love, come and get your contract.
Yeah, that's why we need a lawyer. So, but it's just so complicated. It's so complicated because I think this thing works in the favor when people are separating. Everybody wants them to work in their favor.
Yes.
To say the marriage is a marriage.
Or a marriage is not a marriage.
Yes. I think if I feel like I've got something to lose, I'll say I didn't marry to you. And if I want to benefit something, I'll say I'm married to you. So actually, we just need a lawyer.
You need a lawyer when you're getting married. You need a lawyer when you die. So many of us die without wills.
And then the mother-in-laws and the sister-in-laws, they start the stories because every man doesn't die. When a man died, the woman killed him. But the woman can die, the man doesn't kill her. You understand? So each and every man, when they die, their parents says, you kill them. Men can't die mysteriously, but a woman can die mysteriously. It's the fact.
Yes.
Then they start saying, you killed him because you wanted to benefit. Most of women, when they bury their husband, they are in pain. They're in pain of losing their husband. They're not even in pain of mourning. They're in a pain of what is said about them. Because a man, now, every day we get mysterious death. We're living in a life that people just die. People just go to bed and never wake up. But if it's a woman, it's explainable. She just went to bed and never wake up. But if it's a man, you cannot explain it. The next thing family comes, you killed him. Then they are starting to fight you. They are fighting you to get the inheritance and everything that was meant for your children. And also that is a big problem about the in-laws that want to inherit some people that they know. if someone get married, you know they've got children. The people that are inheriting. If I get married today, if I die today, my inheritance for my children. Why will my mother want my inheritance? If I give her, it's out of my own will. It's not that she deserves it. Why will my sister want my inheritance? Why will my brother want my inheritance? But we just find that every day. How do you deal with that?
You draft a will. It's that simple. You leave a will because your will leaves certainty. It will say, Dipuo wanted this to go to that person, that to go to... So then your mother and your sister and your cousin that you've never seen for 5 years can't just rock up and say, oh, but that car is mine. If you die without a will, you leave the people behind with many problems.
Sure. And people are in problems about those kind of things.
I think you're on your topic that everyone needs a lawyer. The way I see it, you need a lawyer before you get married. You need a lawyer when it's time to get divorced. When you're looking for a job as an employee, I know it's difficult. They want the contract to be signed immediately. Take one day and take it to a lawyer to just read through. Give it back and say, these are my issues. You need a lawyer when you die.
But I guess, you know why you can't even take your contract to the lawyer. I mean, we're sitting with 12 million unemployed people. So you just think it's psychologically. You just think in the time that I'm going to the lawyer, and then what if they just said, oh, you didn't sign in time. We go to somebody else. So it's like we are living in a frustrated society. Everybody is frustrated.
I agree.
But I really think that we really need a lawyer. And I don't know how the attorneys can go back. You know, when we grew up, there was just, don't talk to me, talk to my lawyer. We grew up knowing our parents were, I used to remember my dad, I don't know, maybe that time my dad afforded a lawyer, and come and said, you know, my mom was living telling the next door, you know me, you don't talk to me, you talk to my lawyer. And I'm thinking that, can the lawyer do like a society that people can pay every month? Maybe, because sometimes paying a lawyer on that time is expensive, like medical aid, where you've got a cover for lawyers. I don't know. Maybe something like that.
So you have these legal insurance companies that promise people, and I've got to be very careful here, but they promise people
but they don't pay.
Lots of services. But
no, they don't happen. It's like they will tell you that when you go to hospital, you're going to get this money. I promise you, I went to hospital, I had those covers, I've never seen them. So they start asking sicknesses, everything. You know, the problem about it, certain insurance, I'm not bad-mouthing anyone, but I've got a right to talk. I'm a citizen of the country. I've got every right to talk because I'm here to collect information about people. You find so many people advertising wrong things. When you get to the situation where you need to get paid for what you've paid for, they start saying you don't qualify because of this, you don't qualify because of this. But that is, I find that as a roping game, because at the end of the day, you'll cancel, but how much do you spend?
I think the difference between, in your example, between a medical aid and something like that for law is that I think a gynecologist can say to you, all right, the birth is going to cost you 50,000 because I know exactly what's going to happen. A legal case is not like that. You can plot it forward and you can say, this is your prospects of success, this is what we think will happen. But then at the 11th hour, somebody comes up with a document that they found at the back of the wardrobe and it changes the whole case. So I think that might be one of the difficulties. I don't think it's impossible though. I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah, oh, very interesting, Zunaid, you know. Yeah, and I'm so proud to see our fellow South African, young as you, as a powerhouse like that. I mean, it takes a village but to raise such, and you know, we are actually we are powerhouses as African. We are very powerhouse.
100%, and I think we must. So thank you, and it's exactly right back at you. I think we must just believe in ourselves a bit more, and instill that self-belief in our generations below us, so that they believe in themselves. But this is incredible. It's encouraging, and I'm very honored to be invited, and thank you.
Yeah, I still want us to touch more on that, on the family law, but because of time, we had to cut. But I'm going to invite you again next week to continue with this topic about I think the viewers also want to hear from you more about this family, because family is where it's brought. Everything about family is brought. So thank you so much, the viewers, for watching us today. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Thank you so much. Ta.